Thank you, Julie. Hello, everyone. I wish I could be with you in person, but yeah, NH has just opened for staff travel, but as you may or may not know, we had to plan way ahead of time, so there was no time for me to apply for travel authorization. So, but anyway, next time, hopefully, either my colleague, Dr. Phil Tonkin, or I can attend meeting in person to see you all in person. Yeah, this what I'm going to talk about actually is has been was presented by my colleague Dr. Phil Tonkins quite a while ago. I think it's at the launch of the second phase, if I recall correctly. So here we just basically refresh our memory together. Next, please. This just to show the origin of this current phase. So there was early phase, as you may that is some of you know very well, under the leadership of Julia and Ambrosi, including the three country sites, Tanzania, Ghana, and Nigeria. Next, please. So this is the structure for the current program, the steering committee, and also there's the executive committee, and then the clinical coordinator center, the data coordinating center, plus 6 countries, and during the process, biorepository will be established. Next, please. So the purpose, again, as we indicated before, is to continue and expand the research program on sickle disease in the region, and to form a sickle disease in the region a network or consortium, and then to develop sustainable resources that will achieve or advance sickle disease related epidemiologic, translational, and clinical studies. Next, please. So what the expanded program will do is to maintain and expand the registry database, and to conduct cohort studies, and then to also to do implementation science research studies, and as I mentioned, the biorepository, which is going to be a joint responsibilities of both the DCC, CCC, and all of you, the 6-7 sites or countries. Next, please. And then the program will make it possible to describe, or more accurately describe, the current status of sickle disease as well as risk modifiers, and then to permit the evaluation of instance of clinical events, possible association with various factors, and the impact on health outcomes of improving the identification and the care of patients with sickle disease. Next, please. This is the charter Julia was referring to. I believe that's most of it was presented by my colleague, Dr. Phil Tonkins, a while back. Next, please. So the next few slides, I just highlight a few key components of the charter. One is the steering committee as the governing body, which is composed of our 2 co-chairs, and the PI, co-PI, and the coordinator for the CCC, DCC, and PI and the co-PI for each network site, and also NHLBI representatives. The responsibilities are to serve as a main governing body, and also to facilitate the coordination and the synergy, and to recommend uniform procedures, policies, and to ensure awardees accept and implement policies. Next, please. Yeah, next, please. And the next is the executive committee, which consists of both co-chairs PI, co-PI, and the coordinator of CCC and the DCC, and also NHLBI representative. The responsibilities are to provide scientific management, leadership, and overall governance of the operations of the network. Next, please. And also a publication committee is composed of chair, 2 co-chairs for the steering committee, and also a primary member and the alternate member from the CCC, DCC, and each of the network sites, plus NHLBI representative. The responsibilities are to review concepts for manuscripts, presentations, or abstracts, and to review manuscripts, presentations, or abstracts before submission or presentation, and to approve manuscripts, presentations, or abstracts prior to submission or presentation. Just in case you may wonder why we did this publication committee, for a couple of reasons. The 2 main reasons why is to advantage of having this network is collectively we have a lot experts within this network. So one of the purposes is to leverage the expertise of the collective wisdom of this network, and another is to make sure the quality of manuscripts or presentations or abstracts. As you know, nowadays for scientific research, each of us may be expert in a very narrow field, but there are many other aspects. Like for example, the ethical aspect. Previously, we might not be paying enough attention, but these days, no matter where you go, for any research involving human participants, ethical standards are becoming higher and higher, and that's very critical, and that's also very important for us at the NIH. Although, of course, the major responsibilities are on your shoulder. You are the owner of the studies, and you are the owner of the findings from your studies. But since NHLBI and NIH provide funding, so we do have some responsibilities. So we want to make sure whatever published from this network or presented from this network are of the highest possible quality. Next, please. And another body is called the Observational Study Monitoring Committee, or OSM, or Board, OSMB, as indicated in the RFA. Another one which is kind of related is Data Safety Monitoring Board, so DSMB. DSMB is for clinical trials. OSMB is for observational studies. So these are the you can call it a regulatory body or and also a scientific review body as well. So the membership includes like all different expertise in sickle cell disease, hematology, epidemiology, statistics, and ethics. The board members are independent from the research program. That's the important feature of this kind of boards. The responsibilities are to review project protocols and their amendments. Of course, minor amendments can be dealt with by IRB, for example, without this board to review. But major amendments need to go through this board, either OSMB or DSMB, depending on the nature of the study. And to advise NHLBI on study feasibility, participant safety, and burden, and as well as data monitoring and the successful achievement of the milestones of each project. Provide recommendations to NHLBI regarding study continuation or modification. And the board meets at least twice a year to review all open protocols. Next, please. And here I'd like to just highlight the process for research protocol development and the review. As you know, a good sound protocol is the beginning of a good study. You don't have a good protocol to begin with, the study won't be good, and the results won't be valid or as good as it could be. So the first is to, of course, establish a protocol team, which is important. I think that's what this consortium is doing, which is great. Thank you all for your effort. And then develop protocols with support from both CCC, DCC, and then review develop the protocols by the steering committee. As I indicated before, the steering committee is the main governing body or decision-making body of this consortium or network. And then the revision of protocols when needed, and the submission to NHLBI, either OSMB or DSMB, of the protocols which have been approved by the steering committee. And then there will be a memo from the PO. Right now I'm the acting PO, but when my colleague, Dr. Phil Tompkins, is back, so he will send an official memo to protocol teams on NHLBI leadership's approved OSMB or DSMB recommendations. And then if necessary, of course, revision and further review. And the submission of OSMB, DSMB approved protocol to local IRB for review and proof. And then execution of the IRB approved protocols. So these are the process. And I just like to highlight this process applies to all research protocols, no matter it's a single country protocol, multi-country protocol, or cross-consortium protocols. Next, please. Finally, this is something, again, also in the RFA, but I just like to highlight, because I got some questions which were not surprising. NIH funding mechanisms, well, hundreds of funding mechanisms, but the two major categories, the so-called R funding mechanism, mostly R01, and then the U funding mechanism stands for cooperative agreements. For most basic research, the R01 mechanism is the most common. But for any research that's done within a consortium or network, or any research that involve human participants, now the U mechanism has become more of the norm. As I indicated here, actually it's required for research consortium or network. As I mentioned, for research involving human participants, it becomes more and more of the norm these days. So basically, it's a partnership with substantial NIH programmatic involvement. As stated in the RFA, and then I believe also as part of your LOGA or Notice of Grant Award, there are PIPD responsibilities, NIH responsibilities, steering committee responsibilities, and also observational study monitoring committee or board responsibilities, and also areas of joint responsibility, even a paragraph about the dispute resolution. So this is the link for the RFA. If we get time, if you have questions, you can check the RFA, and if you have any questions, shoot me an email, and my colleague, Dr. Phil Tompkins, is back. Shoot him an email as well. We're happy to discuss any questions you may have. So that's it. Any questions?